You're listening to the Culture Junkie podcast, where we go beyond the surface of pop culture.
I'm Keith.
And I'm Xandra. Together, we dive into the craft process and passion that drive today's creators. This is the Culture Junkie podcast.
This episode is brought to you by Dr. Jim's Computer Repair in Belleville.
Dr. Jim now offers high-quality compatible ink cartridges online, delivered right to your door. Same print quality, far better price. Just the right ink the first time from someone you can actually talk to.
Head to drjimscomputerrepair.ca, find your printer, and start saving today. Hey again. Today's guest is someone who has completely reinvented himself, not once, but multiple times. From his early days as a dominant professional beach and indoor volleyball player to navigating the corporate world to ultimately becoming one of the most respected voices in online fitness. He's built a global movement around helping men over 40, like myself, reclaim their strength, confidence, and health. He's a certified MMA conditioning coach, a best-selling author, and the founder of the Over 40 Alpha Brotherhood, a community that's helped hundreds of thousands of men transform their lives. His content has reached millions, and his programs have influenced everyone from everyday professionals to elite combat athletes. Now, a true media personality and digital entrepreneur, he's proof that reinvention doesn't have an age limit. Please welcome my friend, the one and only Funk Roberts. How you doing, buddy?
I'm awesome, man. Thanks so much. Great. Thank you for the intro. I love it. Thank you. I appreciate it.
You love it. You deserve it. You've earned it. Anyway, listen, I want to show you, you know what? I tell everyone that, oh yeah, I know this guy. I've known him for over 45 years. We've played, we came up in the same volleyball club, never played on the same team, except once. We were supposed to be World Masters Games 2005. Look at that. Look what I have here.
That's
I have
amazing.
it. I have your jersey for some reason. Anyway, next time I see you, I'll make sure you get it. Anyway,
Thank you.
Marcus, take us back to the beginning. What drew you to volleyball and how did that evolve into being a pro beach athlete?
Yeah. So for me, it was, growing up, my parents were the working parents, right? So I was a latchkey kid. So I was one of those kids, 8 years old, 9 years old. I had the key. I had to come home, cook, prepare everything. So during the summers, my parents would send me to sports camp, YMCA sports camp in Scarborough. I was introduced to many sports every single summer. And then from there, it just evolved. Like I always played sports. I always tried to play at the highest level. And then when I went to my high school, Dumbarton High School in Pickering, that high school actually didn't have football at the time. And at that time, when I think I was like 14, 15, I wanted to be a quarterback. I wanted to play football. That's what everything I was doing was geared towards football. I was playing club ball for a while. I played, everything was football. But when I went to Dumbarton High School, they had no football. It was rugby. They were a big rugby team. But volleyball happened at the same time. And I had been playing volleyball before, so I just morphed into volleyball and started to play. And one of the things about me is I always want to be the best. So if I'm going to play volleyball and I started to love it, I'm going to play club volleyball because only the best players play club volleyball. And then that just really morphed into being the best I could indoor, playing, our team was really good. I played at club level like you did. I played provincial level. And then beach volleyball came. Beach volleyball came. And beach volleyball I'm an Aries. I like to be the center of attention. And when I looked at beach volleyball, I had a pretty good indoor career, I guess, by that time. But when I was about 18, 19, beach volleyball started to come around my radar. And I'm like, man, I could be playing on the beach. It's 2-on-2 and I'm Black, so I'm going to stand out. And I get to travel all over the different beaches. Why would I not do that? So I put all my effort into playing beach volleyball, could make some money at the same time. And that's really how I got into beach volleyball. I started playing on our tour in Canada, AVP tour, and world tour, FIVB representing Canada. So yeah, that's really where that came in. And I put all of my focus and effort on playing beach.
So, so that's two transitions right there. We're talking about your mind and body transition. You transitioned from wanting to be a football player, then you were playing indoor volleyball. Now you're on the beach. Now you're one of the few Black guys on the beach. Been there. So now tell me, how did your mindset help you adapt and transition through these changes?
Yeah, I think it was just, opportunities, right? I'm a big believer in opportunities. So my mind shift is like, okay, here's an opportunity that I want to pursue. What are the things that I have to do to get better at that opportunity, which is beach? Because indoor volleyball is different from beach, although same, it's different, right? The indoor, you specialize in different positions. Beach, you're exposed. Like you have to know how to pass, have to set, have to spike, have to play defense, have to block. So that in itself was inviting to me because it's a challenge, right? Like, yes, I played indoor and, I kind of not mastered, but, you get to a point where after university, unless you play growing up, there was only one or two professional leagues in in Europe that were you would go in, right? So the beach was growing. It was a huge sport. We won a bronze medal, not us, not me personally, but Canada had won a bronze medal. So just that explosion of beach and then knowing that, okay, it's a little bit different now. So that was a challenge for me. I love those types of challenges because now I have to get better at this specific sport and I still want to accelerate at that sport. And so that was really the mind shift was, okay, what do I have to do off season? Because in season, obviously playing in the beach is one thing, but what do you have to do off season to make sure that you're ready for the beach season. So for me was, I'm 5'11", so I'm not really tall, was jump training. So I had to do jump training. I had to learn strength and conditioning, plyometrics, all of these things that are going to help me in season. And then even in season, there was a time where beach volleyball back in the 90s was a very social sport, right? You play and you drink. Like that's it. Like you play, you're out. If
That's
you,
why I played.
you go one, you're out, right? Like if you lose your first two matches, you're drinking. Or I mean, earlier in my career, I could go out the Saturday night and still play on the Sunday, because most tournaments are 2 days, and still do well on the Sunday when I was in my 20s. But as I started to get older, I couldn't do that. So there was another mind shift. It was like, okay, wait a minute. I can't go out anymore before tournaments. I can't even go out on the Saturday if we're playing on the Sunday because the level is now right, like the level is getting better and better and better. Players are more focused on off season, on season, and the money's getting better. So I had to switch again. My mindset was like, all right, if I want to do well, Steve Delaney and I, that one year we did extremely well, top three on the tour. That was because we didn't party, right? We didn't party on the Sunday we did, but not on the Saturday. So again, just within that culture, you have to think about where do I want to be in the culture? Do I want to just be happy being part of the community and training and traveling and hanging out with everybody, or do I want to excel? So the guys who excelled were the guys who we had our secret training at 9 a.m. down at the beaches. No one knew when I played with Frank Blasi. He'd make me get up freaking 7 a.m., go to the beach, train with him. Like it was a different mindset. It's like, okay, oh, this is a difference between trying to be elite and just being a part of. And there's nothing wrong with being a part of. It was just, I wanted to be elite at this sport.
Yeah, well, as far as beach volleyball, all I wanted to be was a part of for a little bit, and I managed to do that. Saw you at the barbecue. Listen, but at what point did you realize volleyball wasn't going to be your forever path?
Oh man. Okay, great question. This is a great question. So when I used to come home from practice and I was just like, I hate the sand, I hate being sandy, I don't want to go practice. That's exactly when I knew, okay, you know what? And when I was playing to pay bills, right? Like I was okay, I gotta go to this tournament and I have to get at least fifth. Right. Whereas before I was just playing to win. I wasn't even playing to at least get. I'm playing to win to be on the podium. Now it's okay. If I get a ninth place, I'll be okay. And on the other side, it was, and I hate practicing. Whereas before I loved practice. I loved coming home after a practice, having a shower, dragging sand into the house. At a point, I knew that well, as soon as I knew that I didn't like practicing, that's when I retired. So I actually retired at 30. I retired at a very young age. I stopped playing beach volleyball on the tour level, but I ran the tour. Like I had what's called the Canadian Soul Pro. So in order for me to kind of give back, I ran that tour for 2 years. That was the highest tour in Canada at the time because we hadn't had a tour. So I was running that with John from Not So Pro. I did the So Pro, he did the Not So Pro. So that was great for me. But the day that was the time I knew that if I don't want to practice anymore, then I'm not going to do this anymore because I want to be elite.
So, all right. So then after retiring from volleyball, you moved into the corporate world. How was that transition mentally?
Mentally, that was tough. You know, two things happened. Number one, it was a stark shift from being able to play and travel and do that stuff to 9 to 5, right? It was actually 7 to 10 because I worked at Dell Computers. I worked in the call center for Dell Computers, and I remember I was one of the older people in there. I was like 30 in a call center where most of the reps were in their 20s. And so there was another guy there, Steve Proger, who we were both at the same age, and we're both like, okay, we want to become management as quick as possible, so we're going to work from 7 a.m. when the phones open till 10 p.m. when the phones close. And that was during 1999. That was during Y2K, so just before Y2K. So everyone was buying computers. So literally we'd get there at 7 a.m. The queue, which is where all the phone calls are in. If you've worked in telemarketing or tele center, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That queue was like 200 calls in the queue. So we're just calls, building computers, building computers. And within 6 months, I was in management. So you go from home to business, back to managing home. So that was great. And I made a ton of money, but and I still played volleyball, club ball, and a little bit of volleyball here and there. But man, that was a grind, right? Working at Dell was a grind, and then I moved into staffing, and that was a grind, and I didn't mind it. And I put all my passion into it, and accelerated throughout the corporate world. My passion was always fitness. So on the side, I was shooting workouts. I was in 2007, I started posting on YouTube. So 2007, I was posting on YouTube, even though I was working the 9 to 5 job, because that was my passion. I had a newsletter, and blogs became something back in those days. So I started blogging and had people on my newsletter, and most people who were working at wherever I was working were in my newsletter. So they would walk up to, hey, Funk, hey, how do I, how do I lose weight? What should I eat? What workout should I do? So that was an ongoing thing. And I kind of started to lean online. So I would work the 9 to 5, do whatever with the kids. And then at nighttime, I'm either going to the gym to shoot videos or writing blog posts. So my passion, even though I had a lot of focus with the corporate world, my passion was fitness. And I was leaning into that, learning online fitness because everything was online, and trying to figure out YouTube and all those things. That corporate world was a grind. And yeah, I enjoyed it, but I knew that once online fitness or the ability to help people online became more apparent to me, I realized that, okay, this is where I want to go. Like, I want to help people. Like, that's what I want to do. I do not want to be stuck behind a computer, although that is where I'm stuck right now.
There you are.
I don't want to be stuck behind a computer doing the 9 to 5 thing anyway. So yeah, that was kind of that transition period. Was, yeah, just in the 2000s. That was where I started to think more and more about, let me think about online. And here's the thing. I had been working at Workopolis, which was it's a job board. It's like ZipRecruiter for those
I
people
remember
who
you
know.
in those days.
Yeah. So I was working for Workopolis. I just finished getting President's Club, which is like a big in sales and in the whole company. And I think the week later or 3 weeks later, I walked into the and quit. Like I didn't tell my wife either. I didn't tell anybody. I walked in and quit, and I said, listen, I'm going to pursue the online fitness thing because I have to do this 100% if I want this to work. And so I literally quit. My president was just like, okay, well, okay, I'll support you in any way you need to. And I came home and told my wife, all right. She was like, what are you doing home? Like, why are you home? You just went to work. What are you doing home? And I told her that I quit. And she's like, all right, you better get your ass upstairs and start working, man, because we got to pay the bills. So yeah, that was how much I knew I needed to transition into the online space.
Well, that's really cool because you managed to keep your identity, your physicality and your athleticism identity while you were in that corporate, that corporate environment, right? So looking back on that, I guess you must have learned something though from the corporate grind.
100%. Like, no, I would never give that up, man. That was, just being able to communicate with people, right? That was the thing. Being on the phone at Dell taught me how to sell and communicate with people and listen, because when you're building computers, you have to listen to what the person needs, right? It's not like there's people who just will build a computer to make money, but then that you end up having issues. For me, it was, okay, what do you want this computer for? Okay, I suggest this, and really listening to their needs and then building something based on their needs. And I took everything I learned there And then even in management, managing people and customer service, that was another thing. Because when you're a manager in a call center, you're literally customer service because everyone who calls, they're like, "Oh, I want to speak to your manager." All right, blah 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 blah. That's what you're handling. You're handling everyone else's problems that they created. So taught me customer service and the importance of, okay, how do I make sure that these customers are happy, right? The customer relationship. So that was something that I learned and I took into my entrepreneurship world. And then when I worked at Workopolis, I was meeting with the company's owners and presidents and executive directors and sitting there selling our services to them. So I learned how to be present and not be overwhelmed by sitting with the president of a company, knowing that our product that we built was good. It was a good product. And that's another thing I learned is you have to make sure that you build good, like incredible products that get results. That's number one. No matter what you're doing, valuable products, because then you have that confidence, or I had the confidence in sitting with anybody and know, oh, dude, I know that my product or what I'm selling you, the service I'm providing you is going to be 100% amazing for what your needs are. So all of those things I learned in the corporate world, and then just communicating and connecting with people as well, that I brought into the online world and the online space and creating programs and services for my online.
Right. So, this is great stuff, but you've been really open about hitting a low point physically around 40, right? What exactly was going on with you at that time?
Okay, so while I was in the corporate world and while I was posting on YouTube, so these are two things that were happening. You know, things started to change for me. I didn't know what was happening with my body. I didn't know what was happening with the way I was feeling, with my drive. I didn't, I just, it was a feeling I didn't really understand. And then at that time I was living with a girl who I thought I was going to marry 100%. I was like, this one's the one. I'm going to marry this. This is it. And then, fast forward maybe 6, 7 months later, I walked into to my house and she was there with her bags packed, saying, "I'm gone. I'm done. I'm out because we're not having sex, right? We're not having sex. I need to have sex. This is not happening." So she literally left me, like literally with her bags packed, and so she left. And so that started a spiral. That slowly started a spiral because for me, I didn't understand, but I had a low libido at the time, but I didn't understand. And I realized, oh my God, she's right. We haven't had sex like 7 months. And then I was training with my partner, my training partner. I don't know if you know Chuck Bassey, but I was training with Chuck Bassey, and he's
I
like,
know Chuck Basti.
yeah. He looked, so we've been training for a year, and he looks at me and he goes, "Man, doesn't it piss you off that you're like the hardest working guy in this gym? Like you come in here, you're in here for an hour, and your body hasn't changed at all. In fact, you have more belly fat than ever before." And that like that, of course I got defensive, but that literally
Listen,
punched me in
coming
the.
from Chuck, that's a shot.
So so that killed me though. I'm not even joking. So
Uh,
finally I went home and I looked at myself for the first time because I had not looked at myself at all with my shirt off. And I saw what was just, to me, it was just like I was out of shape, I had a big belly, I was puffy. And so with that, I got really defensive. I didn't know what was happening. I went to the gym and trained harder. I was still posting on YouTube, but if you go back in 2007 in those videos, you'll see me. I'm always in a basketball t-shirt, basketball shirt. And then I started to mask my manhood by going to strip joints, going to after hours. Like I went deep, 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 deep into addiction, drugs, partying, everything because oh, my girlfriend left me because, well, my soon to be fiance, but it was not, left me because we weren't having sex. Oh, then I'm going to go to where that's prevalent and I'll show her type thing. Right. And so that was really masking the manhood because I'd lost that, right? I'd lost everything to me. So yeah, that was a very dark, dark, dark time. But it wasn't until I went to the doctor to have my physical and then came back to get the results. And he told me that my testosterone levels were at like 180 nanograms per deciliter. Usually it should be at 600, 700, 800, but it was at 180. And he tells me testosterone levels are of that of like a 80-year-old man. Like what is going on? And to me, that didn't resonate with me because back in like 25 years, 27 years ago, testosterone wasn't a, I didn't really know much about testosterone. Even guys who are doing steroids, the testosterone thing wasn't really something that
yeah,
came up,
with the
right?
PEDs, that testosterone didn't come up in the PED conversation back in the day.
Right. 100%. Yes. So I didn't relate to that. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm jacked. I go to strip joints. Like, what are you talking about? And he's like, no, man, that has nothing to do with it. Like, your physique just shows it. And so he went down and told me, here are all the ways you can naturally increase testosterone. And I laid into that. And literally, and at that time I was living in my parents, so that's how dark it was. And so I was training, and then so I changed everything. I changed my nutrition. I changed the way I worked out. I literally went deep into learning about testosterone, hormones, what they're doing to our bodies, all of that stuff. And in 6 months, I transformed my body, 185 pounds, lean, ripped, had abs for the first time. And literally like getting out of addiction, all of that stuff happened within 6 months. And then my 40s was like the best years of my life. Like, I got married, I freaking, helped my kid get to college, like all of these things, started my business, all these things started happening in my 40s based on just that discovery, and then kind of changing my life.
That's amazing. So just one day it clicked. Not too many people have that click moment, and then you got a great story and a great, not a detour to the journey, but, like a transition. So you were on YouTube early though, and with online fitness, what made you believe that you could become a business for you?
Yeah, so it was a lot of there was a mix of mentorship, a mix of research. What are other guys in this industry doing that doing right? Like the Craig Ballantynes and Vince Del Monte. I'm throwing out names you guys don't know, but I'm just throwing these names out because those were the guys that I just studied them. I studied their emails. I joined their newsletter. How are they launching? Like, I studied and studied and studied. And then I had to get a mentor. Right. I had to get someone to help me with my very first launch because I had no clue what I was doing. And I wanted to make sure that the first product that I launched went well. So I had to get a mentor, and I had to pay that mentor. I had to invest in myself and learning that. And then just posting on YouTube. But it's always about just, okay, what are the guys who are doing well? What are they doing? Okay, they're posting all the time. All right, so I'm going to post all the time. What are my goals? My goals are to create a website that at my very first kind of brand was Funk MMA, actually. So I was a strength and conditioning coach for fighters. That was my first brand. So the first brand was Funk MMA. And that's what I wanted. I wanted every fighter, whether it was MMA, Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, boxing, I wanted every fighter to be able to go to Funk MMA and to know that if I went to this website, I would get a strength and conditioning workout that I could use no matter if I live in my gym live at home, or if I'm in a small gym, or if I'm in a UFC gym. I know that Funk MMA is going to be the guy because there was no one else doing that. So I had to post workouts on YouTube, took those YouTube workouts, posted them into my blog or my Funk MMA website, and that was my thing. And one of my first two products was a strength and conditioning program for fighters, right? So that was my birth into the online space. I did fitness as well, but it was my passion was strength and conditioning for fighters because I was also fighting at the time. I started fighting at 41. I had my very first pro Muay Thai fight in Thailand with my
Pro
wife on
fight.
the pro
First
fight.
pro
Oh yeah,
fight.
that was a pro. Yeah, that was a pro fight. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh, Against the Thai who I beat, second round knockout, and my wife at that time, she was my fiance, but my wife was on the card as well. So yeah, so that was everything for me. I used to go to Thailand every year and do seminars. I used to do seminars around gyms here, and yeah, that's all I did for 5 or 6 years was just strength and conditioning for fighters and the brand. Right, my big thing for anyone listening and creators, entrepreneurs is that brand. Right, like Funk MMA. It got to a point where I'd be in Thailand walking down the street and they'd be like, "Hey, Funk MMA, Funk MMA, Funk MMA." They would be calling me by the brand, and that's what you want. That's what I wanted. I wanted people to call me by Funk MMA because then I knew that they knew what that brand was all about and how that brand brought them value, right? For someone to say that name and it's like, okay, at least it is, they're remembering it, right? There's something in their head that makes them remember whether they go to the site all the time. So that was that brand, Funk MMA. But I did realize after a while, specifically as the online fitness and health space is starting to become a little bit more crowded. Like when I started, there was nobody. So it was easier to make money, right? Because there's nothing out there, right? But as it became a little bit more crowded, and just the tactics of sales and memberships and all of those things start to become more realized by the regular folks, it became much more difficult to make money. And then I also realized that fighters don't have money. Like a guy who's fighting is just scraping to go to his gym membership, right? But I had to learn that. I didn't realize that at the beginning. So I had to learn that. I had to change my pricing structure. But then I just, you know what, I'm going to go into the fitness world, lean more into the fitness world. And then, of course, it was men over 40. But yeah, that brand served me right. I'll just tell one story quickly if I can. I work with the UFC. I work for the UFC. I do fighter relations and operations for the UFC. So every time, this next week I'll be in Winnipeg for the UFC fights in Winnipeg. Then I'll be in Perth. Then I'll be in China. And basically, what happens is as soon as the fighters get off the plane, we make sure they get to the hotel. We have to check them in. We have to be with them throughout the week. We do the weigh-ins. We make sure they get to the weigh-ins. I've been on stage doing the weigh-ins in the past. Then we do the fight night. So we do all the operations. We have to organize everything. We organize everything for the fighters, right? To make everything run smooth, right? Even on fight night, we're connecting with the floor manager. Okay, who's walking? Dustin Poirier's walking. Okay, Dustin, you're walking in 5 minutes. So we walk Dustin all the way. So we do everything. Okay, so I guess a team of 6 or 7 of us. So when I started working with the UFC 10 years ago, right? Because here's the thing, when you do something online, you don't honestly know how many people you reach. You just do it. You got an email list. You may have some followers, but are you really reaching those people? Are they opening your emails, specifically online with their followers? Are they seeing even your posts? Because most people don't even see your posts. But when I started working with the UFC, I would have fighter, oh my God, Funk Roberts, what are you doing here? Like, I do your workouts. Like when Dustin Poirier knocked out Conor McGregor in the back after he got interviewed, he was walking down tons of people, and I'm just standing there because, I'm just waiting for everything so that we can clean up. And he's like, Funk Roberts, don't think I don't know you. I used to download and do your workouts at the gym. And then he points to his wife, honey, you remember Funk Roberts? There he is. And she's like, oh my God. It's like Dustin Poirier, who just knocked out Conor McGregor, literally told me that. But that started to become something that was like, oh man, okay, so it did reach a lot of people. This did reach a lot of people. It was incredible. Still to this day, I'll have people come out and go, I do your workouts still. Kettlebell workouts from way back in the day. Crazy.
So what was your vision behind the Over 40 Alpha Brotherhood?
Yeah, great questions. I had another life. So in 2008, 17, 18, I had something called crypto organizing pneumonia, which literally I was on my deathbed, 100% on my deathbed. In fact, the doctors told me that you need to come back to the hospital because at the time they had no clue what it was. It was called crypto organizing pneumonia. That's what it was, but they didn't know what it was. They didn't know what caused it. They didn't know what it was. They didn't know how to treat it because they didn't know what it was. And so they said, and you're slowly dying, so you might as well die in the hospital. So my sister-in-law drove me back to the hospital. It was right after we had a consultation to see what it was. Doctor didn't know. Anyways, took me back to the hospital. I'm sitting there in bed. Finally, they went to some Swiss doctor who said, oh, I think this is crypto organizing pneumonia. They did all of the things that they needed to do, the surgery, and now I'm in the recovery piece, right? So now I'm in recovery. Recovery means I have to take prednisone. Prednisone is the worst catabolic steroid on the planet. It kills your testosterone. It causes belly fat. It messes with your hormones, big head. It's horrible, but it is for inflammation, right? It brings down inflammation. And that was what was happening. My lungs had been thinged up so much from this crypto organizing one that I need to bring down the inflammation. So I had to take prednisone. So at that time, I had just launched my Men Over 40 Alpha Brotherhood. The transition I made was, listen, I have something that worked for me. The nutrition, the workouts, everything worked for me at that time when I was 39 and 40. Let me see if I can create something using the same template that'll work for these guys in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. Because the other thing that I saw was that there was no information out there in 2018 for men over 40. It was just over 40, or actually, even at that time, there wasn't really anything. So I created the Over 40 Alpha program. I had 90 people go through the first 90 days of this program, and 70 of them got insane results. But so then I created the membership. Now these 90 guys are slowly going to the membership. But of course, I have crypto organizing pneumonia and I'm on recovery. Oh, I decided, okay, in order for me to really truly ensure that this actually works, I'm going to recover by doing my program with nutrition, everything. So that by the time I come off prednisone, hopefully my testosterone levels are, because they were way back down again. They were like 101 or something. It's horrible. But that's what prednisone does. It kills any prescription drugs kill your testosterone levels. Fast forward 6 months later, doctors were the lung specialist like, dude, what the hell are you doing? Like, you don't need to be on this anymore. So I got off of the prednisone. It's supposed to be on for 2 years. Only 6 months later, then my testosterone levels tripled from, I think it went from 101 to even more than tripled. It went from 101 to like 700, like 3 months later, because I had been doing the protocol that was naturally increasing testosterone. And as soon as that happened, I was like, all right, I'm going full steam ahead. Ads, challenge, everything, helping men over 40, and haven't looked back since, because this is one of the underserved markets. I have a proven system that worked for me, and then put 90 people through, worked for them. And, to this day, I'm still using the same protocol.
So how's it different training, mixed martial artists to 40-year-old guys and up?
Yeah. So training mixed martial artists is a treat, because they don't need motivation. They'll just do whatever you tell them to do. If I tell them to freaking do 50 burpees and go run around the block and then come back and do, whatever, they'll do it, because their goal is to get in the best shape of life, because they're doing it for something. Whether it's to actually fight, whether it's just to train, or whether it's just to be in the culture, the fighting culture, whether it's jujitsu or whatever, they know that strength and conditioning, or that opposite piece, is important to them. So they'll just do anything, which is, most athletes are like that. You just tell them what to do, they'll do it. With men over 40, there's a lot of layers, right? There's the mental piece, there's the hope, and there's the disbelief in themselves. I can't do this. I've tried everything. Not even disbelief in the program. It's a lot of times it's, okay, I know you say this program works, but I don't think it's going to work for me, because I'm different, because I've tried stuff, or I don't believe in myself. So we have to get through that mental piece first. There are some guys who come in, because my program is for the everyday man in their 40s, 50s, 60s. Most other people's programs are for the high performing men of 40, which I don't know what that is. Mine isn't. Mine, sure, the high performance guys are in my membership, but I'm the 99% of guys out there who I see struggling every single day when I walk outside or I go to my meetings or whatever. I see it out there. I see the struggle, and we lead the league in, heart disease, and diabetes, and low testosterone, and mental health, and suicides. Like, we lead we have the most suicides, like this demographic. And this demographic to this day still is the least serving. They're served the least. There's still not a lot of information specific for men over 40, 50, 60 and beyond. So for me, it was just natural to go in that direction. And honestly, too, I remember saying to myself, well, I don't want to be doing burpees until my 50s. Like, and here I am doing burpees in my 50s, right? But the difference is there's a little bit of the mental piece that we have to the mental piece is the big piece, the trust, both in me, in the program, and in themselves, and then the community piece. Because community is a big thing for me. Tribe. I wrote a book about how to create tribes, so that trusting other men, because men generally don't trust other men. It's insane. Like, we feel like it's weak if we ask for help. We feel like it's weak if we expose something. So I try to be as open as possible for me and my journey and things that are going on in my life, to let them know that, hey man, it's okay we're all struggling. Everyone's struggling with something. Everybody. Right.
So what's the biggest mistake that that cohort make, the men over 40 trying to stay fit? What are they doing wrong?
They're doing things that they did in their 20s and 30s. So three things. They're doing things that they did in their 20s and 30s, which means jumping on a cardio or elliptical and just going 0 to 100 in cardio, right? 60-minute on the elliptical or the cardio. And basically all that's doing is it's causing chronic stress on the body, and it's eating away at our muscles. We suffer from low testosterone just because testosterone levels naturally decrease 1 to 2% every single year. That's one thing. So by the time we're 40, 50, 60, most guys have low T. The second thing is sarcopenia, which is the natural loss of muscle due to aging. So we suffer from loss of muscle. Most guys aren't doing resistance training, specifically in their 40s, 50s, 60s. It's the other ones who life has taken over, right? And then also our metabolism slows down just because whether it's lifestyle, whether we're eating the wrong things, whether we're following the wrong diets, we're inconsistent. So those things compound by the time we're 40. Those don't work for us because we don't recover like we used to. Like we can't be doing bi day, tri day, back day, chest day, legs day, 1 day rest and go back again because our joints aren't there. And then the other thing that the mistake we do is we follow all of these different diets, right? Like the keto diet, the South Beach diet, all of these different diets out there aren't geared towards us. Because remember, we have hormone issues. We have, we need to build muscle and we need to stay consistent. Those restrictive diets don't work for us. Low fat, low carbs. We need a balanced plate diet. Source of protein, source of complex, healthy carbs, source of vegetables and fruits, source of fats, because that's going to help. Fats can help with testosterone. Carbs are going to help with our thyroid, which is our metabolism. Protein, of course, building blocks of our muscles. So we need it for muscles, but recovery and fat loss. And then, of course, vegetables and fruits for the fiber. And it's easy to eat that way. Like it's very simple. I just have to have a source on my plate. I don't have to count calories. I don't have to do any of that stuff. So those two things alone. I'm going to say sleep, but everyone has a problem with sleep. But those two things right off the bat, because those are the two things that most guys start to do. Okay, I'm going to get back to the gym and I'm just going to go old school bodybuilding, right? And then what happens is they get back to the gym, specifically you haven't been there in a while, and you get overwhelmed with everyone in the gym. And then you forget how to use some of the equipment, right? Like, oh yeah. And then
Yeah.
so you pick up the dumbbells and you start doing bicep curls. But then what happens? You look around and you're feeling a little like, I don't feel confident here anymore, right? Because it's like, it's all these people around. And then you're just walking around aimlessly. I've seen it. Guys are walking around. Oh, let me just jump on this chest and let me just do this. Okay, I'm in a machine. Easier for me to do the machine because I don't have to look stupid doing bicep curls. So now I'm in the machine. But then it's like, I didn't really feel that. So then I go to the cardio because that's the last thing I can do. Right. So it's that not knowing exactly what to do. And then what happens? You don't leave the gym feeling like you did anything. You don't leave the gym like I crushed it. You leave the gym like, I don't know if I want to go back there. Like I'm 40. These guys are in their 20s and 30s, or I'm 50. Like, do I even belong there? Right? You do. You belong there. But anyway, so yeah, those are things that those are the mistakes that guys usually make.
That's amazing. And listen, buddy, you've appeared on major media platforms and you built a huge online following. When did you realize that you were becoming a media personality?
Yeah, that's a good question because I still don't realize that. I don't realize it's one of
Well,
those things
trust me,
where
you are.
yeah, I just do those things and then that's it. I don't really Yeah, it's something that my wife always tells me you have to lean a little bit more into that. I'm not sure what that means, but yeah, to me, I don't see myself like that. I literally just see myself as Funk Roberts, men over 40, and I'm trying to help these guys. That's it. I don't see myself as this group, but I am realizing that now because one of the projects I'm working on is a Men Over 40 Summit. And in order for this summit to happen, I have to go out and recruit speakers. And a lot of times it's speakers that I haven't connected with, but they will tell me that, oh man, I've been following you forever. Oh, you're an OG. Oh man, you've been in this industry for a while. And even when I did stuff during the pandemic with muscle and fitness, that was they reached out to me and said, "Hey, do you want to do some follow-on workouts for our lives?" I'm like, "Absolutely." And again, even then, I'm just like, "Oh wow, Muscle and Fitness just asked me to do follow-on." I just do it. It's just I don't know. It just doesn't resonate with me, but I appreciate it. I do. I definitely appreciate it.
Do you see yourself expanding beyond fitness into broader lifestyle, and not just for men, or just broader in general?
Yeah, I think for me, definitely going to stick with men over 40, 50, 60 because it's a very underserved market. And I feel like there's just not enough that can be done until the stats move, right? Until the stats start moving, I don't see myself, um, detaching myself from that audience. I have done some coaching on the entrepreneurship side in the last couple of years, helping people build their own communities and membership sites and all that stuff. I've spoken and written books about that and thrives because I realize that we are becoming more and more separated. And I think AI is going to continue to separate people. And we need to, the only thing that's going to keep us together is this community and connecting more with people, whether it's connecting online or connecting, physically connecting. Community is going to be a big piece, but it's not just creating a community and letting go. There is a strategy behind ensuring that you have like a tribe. Like my guys stay in my, I have over 10,000 people in my membership. I have lifers that have been there probably 6, 7 years, and just they don't leave because they never leave because the program's great, but B, because they love the brotherhood. The brotherhood keeps them here. The brotherhood is like, this is my connection to guys who understand me on the same journey as me, and we don't judge, right? The brotherhood's no judging. We don't talk politics. We don't talk religion. We don't talk any of that stuff. So it's a safe place for guys to go who can be vulnerable, who can get support. And so the brotherhood is what keeps people there. And there's a strategy behind creating those types of memberships to help connect people with. So that's the only other thing that where I would go is definitely more coaching and more in that space. But yeah, I'll always be, at this point in 2026, as we're talking right now, I will always be men over 40, 50, 67 until that freaking number moves.
All right, then tell me, what's one habit every man over 40 should adopt?
Exercise. Non-negotiable. Non-negotiable. 6 days a week. What does this look like? It looks like 3 to 4 days a week, you're going to do a circuit style training, total body circuit style training. You're going to pick up a dumbbell or 2 dumbbells. That's all you need, but you should use dumbbells. And you're going to go through a leg exercise. So squats, chest press, bent over rows, bicep curls, tricep extensions, shoulder raise right there. That's a workout right there. You're going to do each exercise for 40 seconds of work, followed by 20 seconds rest, one after the other for 4 rounds. That's 24 minutes. That's your workout. That's all you have to do. Of course, warm up before, stretch after. Then on the next day, so that's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, but I'll give you something for Saturday. Tuesday and Thursday, you're going to do mobility, yoga. You're going to man flow yoga with my boy Dean, and you're going to do yoga. You're going to do mobility because we need physical recovery so we don't get injured, right? Remember, we don't recover the way we used to. So the margin for error is like this. Like we can't eat the way we used to back in the day. We can't train the way we used to. We can't go crazy. Like we've got to, but you can get in the best shape of your life. Like, believe me, the guys in my program have 6-pack abs and they did not come in there like that because you just follow the system. So those 2 days you lean into uncomfortableness with yoga, mobility, what have you. So that's 5 days. On the Saturday, you either do another workout or you go out and hike in nature. It's summer. Get into nature and hike. Get out there and hike. Get connected with nature. It's such an incredible thing, both for physical recovery and mental recovery, right? So get out there and hike or walk, right? So that's your 6th day. Your 7th day is just rest, and then rinse and repeat. And it doesn't have to be a crazy workout, right? Rinse and repeat. Obviously, those workouts that you're doing, by the way, the 4 workouts are all going to be different, right? You're going to do those for 4 weeks, but the template's the same. Legs, chest, back, arms, biceps, triceps, and shoulders, right? You can add an ab finisher if you need to. But then the rest, so that's kind of like the template for exercise. Because once you start exercising and once you start doing it in that way, because those type of workouts, you're going to burn calories, so you're going to burn fat because you're moving from one exercise to another. You're going to start to feel better. You're going to start to look better. We got to get rid of that belly fat too. That's the key. We want to get rid of that belly fat. So the way we do that is 10,000 steps a day. You have to. So after your dinner, you're going to get out there and walk, and you're going to track and make sure you get 10,000 steps. And that's a non-negotiable, right? 7 to 10, 10,000 is very difficult to get. I'm learning 10,000 is difficult. Specifically, if you're working 9 to 5, it's going to be difficult. But 7 to 10,000 steps a day. And that right there, the workouts and the steps combined will make an incredible difference in 4 weeks. Give it 4 weeks to see that difference, right? To see the difference in your muscle. Okay, if you are a little bit obese or you're obese, obviously you're not going to see that much muscle because we got to get rid of the fat. That's where the 7 to 10,000 steps, non-negotiable. Like, I don't even care if you have to, I know there's been times where I would get home. I got 6,000 steps. I get home from a meeting and it'd be like 9 o'clock and I'd be like, oh, I got to go outside. And I literally got to go walk 4,000 steps. It doesn't matter if it's raining, snowing, sleeting, or hailing. Just put on the gear and walk. And that's it. Walk, walk, walk. It gives you time to also gives you time to ground yourself, gives you time to deload from the day that you had. It also gives you time to focus on the next day. And then by the time you get back, not only is your food digested, but you're ready for sleep. I'm not going to get into the sleep stuff, but that's the low hanging fruit, man. Everyone's got to work and do it at home. This is my gym. For most of the time, my gym's right here. Like after I finish this with you, I'm doing one of those exact workouts I'm doing right here. And that's
Listen,
it, man.
listen, Funk, it's been awesome. It's been great to talk to you. Your enthusiasm for this is contagious. You know what? I gotta have to look into the old testosterone thing because I could be drag assing a little bit. 63 years old now, right? It's tough to keep it up.
You look
I know, right?
incredible. Like, I can't even believe you're 63. You look like when we met.
How's you except for the beard?
Yeah, incredible. You look great. You
Yeah,
look absolutely.
listen, buddy. Again, thanks again for this. Anytime you want to come on and tell me what's coming on next, we'd be pleased to talk with you. Funk Roberts.
Thank you.